I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
No problemo.
Leo, why are we reviewing this movie?
Dude, I saw this movie for the first time in the theaters.
Me too.
At 9 years old.
9 years old. No, I must have been 8.
Yeah.
It had to have been 8.
Yeah, because it was like in the spring, I remember. Like an April release or something.
We saw it in the same movie theater, believe it or not.
Yeah, Movies 12. That's right.
It's the first movie that I saw that I had to wait in line to get in.
I didn't have to wait in line because I think it'd been out for a couple weeks for me, but I remember it was the first movie theater experience for me.
Now, there's so many movies out here that are out and about. Why did we go back to Terminator 2?
First of all, it was just re-released in 4K.
In 4K.
So I can't watch it in 4K yet. He can. So I thought, hey, let's watch it.
See if it still holds up.
Yeah.
Maybe, and I'm kind of glad that we did watch it in 4K because I ended up seeing little things that I didn't see originally. Little details here and there, and we'll talk about this as we're going along.
But they're really important details, I think.
Yeah.
They don't change anything of the story, but just details to the characters.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
very cool.
I am one of those that I think Terminator 2, still to this day, holds up as the number one action movie of all time.
Yeah. You can't beat that. Yeah, I agree.
From beginning to end. Well, let's, in case you guys haven't seen Terminator 2, and I'd be surprised if you haven't seen Terminator 2, what is this movie about?
It's about Sarah, and now she has John Connor, and actually it's John sends the the 101.
Yeah, the T101.
T101 sends him back to protect him. Okay.
So
from the T1000.
So the hero of the future is a guy named John Connor, this little kid, and in the year 2029, he ends up sending a Terminator to protect himself against another threat that was sent back in time to kill him. Now, this movie, I think, has one of the best hero and villain intros that I've ever seen.
I can't disagree with that.
Coming in buck naked.
Yeah.
In their signature pose.
Oh, I still remember to this day, for me, it's like, oh, I forget there's a naked scene in the beginning of the movie. But it's awesome because it shows you these two guys from the future, and instantly they're badasses because one of them kills and the other one just takes what he needs. But
and if you haven't seen Terminator 1, I suggest you see Terminator 1 before Terminator 2, clearly. But
I saw it. That was my introduction to the series.
Really? Terminator 2 was your first one?
Yeah, my parents didn't let me see Terminator, but I could hear some of the scenes. I remember the scene when he goes to the house to find Sarah, but finds a couple that's boning, and then he kills the guy. He's throwing while she's listening to music. Yeah, that's what I remember.
So one of the things now this review is going to be just all over the joint. I personally don't have anything bad to say, so it's going to be all positive.
It's just a love fest for this movie. Yeah,
it really is for me. Anyway.
What we love about it.
Now, the one thing that I always cannot get tired of is the opening scene. Arnold Schwarzenegger comes back into the past, and the way he gets his clothes. He enters in like this country bar, and buck naked, the full Terminator out and about. You know what I mean? He's searching and destroying. You know what I mean? And I love the fact that you look around and every single one's faces are kind of, they're stunned. They're shocked.
And we have his point of view, right? It's the red screen. Processing everything and people looking at him.
And I definitely like in the opening scene when he's getting his clothes and there's this kind of chubbier woman who kind of is serving food on a tray, comes around the corner and kind of goes, like
I always remember that.
Yeah, looks him up and down.
That one of those things that stands out.
Yeah, she got the full T1000. But it was so great. He goes up to this biker. He goes, I want your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. Action ensues, right? And it's just... Even from the opening song, when he gets his sunglasses.
The thing is, it's not even just like, okay, there's action, right? He's gonna fight his way to the things he needs, but it starts with him naked, right? He doesn't have anything, and when he demands the guy to give him those things, he burns a cigar right in his chest, and it's the first time we see like, this doesn't faze this guy.
Everyone's like, ooh,
yeah, and then he grabs the hand, and then he starts beating ass.
He throws him right across the stove. And
yeah.
I mean, he gets stabbed. He gets pool sticks like broken on his neck. But it was one of those like, man, Arnold still. I think this is one of those movies that I think it's Arnold at its best.
Yeah, that was his prime right there.
For sure,
physique and everything.
Now the bad guy is made out of liquid metal. He's a more advanced version of Arnold Schwarzenegger, but his entrance was not as epic as Arnold.
It was like a stealthier, more sly, kind of snake-like, and it introduced us to the way he was going to be in the entire movie, pretty much in this whole big... Because it's just one big chase.
It really is.
And
one
it takes
big chase.
And it goes through all these different locations till the final showdown.
Now, the one thing that... When I first saw this movie, I thought... When I first saw the bad guy... I don't know the actor's name. Robert Patrick, thank you. When I first saw him, I didn't think he was physically. He wasn't so much of a threat, because you first see him and it's like, dude, this is this little skinny guy. But as the movie progresses, I kind of every single time he showed up, I was like, dude, Arnold, run, get the fuck out.
Look, here's the thing about this movie too. You got to remember, I'm a 9-year-old watching these intense scenes, like. The scene where he kills the dad, right, and he's on the phone pretending to be the mom, the foster mom, right? It's an impactful scene. The way he dies and he's shaken, and then it goes back to her finger, and
most parents don't allow their
my mom didn't
kids seeing that kind of stuff.
It was my cool uncle.
For me, I got lucky. It was my dad, but he didn't. I wasn't shit. Yeah. I mean, I watched Terminator 1, and I mean, that was as brutal as you can get at the time when he's opening up operating on his own eye.
Oh yeah, bro. Still to this day, and we still need to review this, but Predator is to me the most brutal. We'll get into that, but yeah, that to me. So this is on that list of movies where it's a movie that I should not have seen at that age, but to me now, thinking back, you can't beat that movie now for me.
And you know what? It's so funny.
It's always compared to that.
We should review Arnold movies because there's a lot of duds, like Twins and shit. But the
Conan movies to me, I grew up watching all these.
The Running Man,
Arnold
Predator,
movies.
Terminator 1. I mean, the list goes on and on with Arnold for sure. Now, the first, let's just talk John Connor for a second.
Okay.
I don't remember what his name is.
Edward Furlong.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. He dropped off the face of the earth recently, after that, completely. But this kid Edward did such a really good job of just acting out like someone, like his life was actually in danger. One of my favorite scenes here is when he first meets Arnold and his killer in Robert Patrick in the mall.
Yeah, dude. And the thing is, at that stage of my life, I relate to the kid more than anything else in the movie because I'm around that age. So for him to be in the arcade, he's having fun, he's playing these games, and then there goes a T-1000 looking for him. That chase scene alone was like, oh, I'm in this movie.
Oh yeah, right from the get-go, from beginning to end, you're engaged.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, and the thing is, as Arnold is walking down the hallway, he sees John Connor for the first time. John Connor sees him for the first time.
Everything slows down.
Zoom in on John Connor's face, and he's like full panic. I don't know if he knows at this time who this guy is.
He just sees our Uncle Bob coming in.
Uncle Bob. And I love the visual because everything does slow down, right? And he's hiding like a true professional.
He's got the box of the roses.
He has the box of roses, and that's where he has the shotgun laid out. He takes out the shotgun. Roses, slow motion fall. He
steps on him, crushes him.
And I don't know. I don't remember the trailers at this time, but I don't know if the trailers made it seem like Arnold was the bad guy and Robert Patrick was the good guy.
I think that part they do because our memory is still fresh of that form. 1. Yeah, that guy being the bad guy, the instigator.
So yeah, they meet in the hallway, and this is the first time that I see okay, this T-1000 is an actual threat because. They're having a shootout in the mall.
In that hallway, yeah.
Full on hallway.
It's in a mall, yeah.
Yeah, full Galleria, that's what they call it. The Glendale Galleria. And they're literally mashing each other against the walls. And, dude, the T-1000 got the best of Arnold.
Yeah, he did.
let's just talk the chase alone. The motorcycle chase with the 18-wheeler.
It's one of the most memorable chases because it starts with the motorcycle. Well, it starts with the 18-wheeler, right? He gets in the 18-wheeler and he's going after him, and then Eddie has the like a John has the little dirt bike, right? So he's running away, and first of all, he chases him out. So he's running almost as fast as the dirt bike to get out of the garage, and so he gets in the truck and he chases him down, and then Arnold shows up, right? Uncle Bob shows up with the Harley, flying off that little corner triangle into the canals. You can't. That's so memorable. And he's like flying.
And even as he goes into he flies off into the canals, right? Just the chase alone. First of all, the thing I like about this movie so much is that the T-1000 is so relentless.
He doesn't stop.
He does not stop. He's going full at different scenes, different areas, different sceneries. He's still nonstop chasing John Connor.
And the way they do it is, he gets shot at, right, with the handgun, with the shotgun, and you think that's gonna stop him? No. And then the whole chase ends with him blowing up because he crashes an 18-wheeler. And he's walking through the fire after, Uncle Bob and John take off.
That's when I realized, oh shit,
he's not gonna.
This guy is not not a T-100.
Yeah. So how are they gonna kill him?
Because if it was Arnold right there, I mean, he would have been skin melted off. Sure. He would have been full on metal skeleton. He would have been kind of exposed to the public.
Yeah, he would have been blown to bits.
And the thing is one of the aspects I like about the chase, as Arnold is trying to catch up to Robert Patrick in the 18-wheeler, I love the way he's cocking his gun.
Oh, dude.
Flipping
he
it
made
out.
It look so badass.
Shooting. Boom. Boom. I've never, to this day, I have not seen that.
A reload like that.
Ever. Plus the whole, him doing that whole spin, shooting the locks out, driving through the gates. All of that is you just can't get better than that.
Well, personally, I do like RoboCop. Puts in the holster and it closes.
I still think,
but it's better.
If they have a fight, I think the Terminator would win. I mean, he has RoboCop has a major weakness right here.
Shoot him in the face.
But he does get John Connor out, and we watched the 4K Blu-ray, and I think they improved on this aspect because in the originals you can clearly see where there's a stunt double.
And you know what? I noticed that instantly because I always remember when that bike goes off. That's where you see it because it's so slow. You have enough time to see the guy who was driving the bike. This time it looked like Arnold, and I was like, "Oh, whoa! Did he do it?" Because I remember him not being on that shot.
Yeah, the shot that I remember clearly, the stunt double, is when Arnold is riding side to side with John in the motorcycles, right? And Arnold grabs John and brings them over
onto his.
That's when I see the stunt double, but not in this one. They did such a good job of digitally kind of refacing him.
It's really well done.
Make Arnold. It's really, really well done. Now the T-1000. Let's just talk T-1000 here for a second because it's the first time I've ever seen a villain that's this relentless, this unique, and this, I'm not going to say powerful, but very versatile.
I still, until this viewing, didn't really appreciate the T-1000 because I like the 101 so much. Even though it's a simple, basic model, right? It doesn't last as long as these newer models. But that chopper scene, right, where he's chasing him in the SWAT truck, it's something we didn't catch until today.
Oh, about his fucking third arm and shit?
He's piloting the chopper, right, and he's reloading the gun because he's shooting at him. And you pointed out, I had never seen this. He's got a third arm down here holding the joystick.
Look really closely.
It's very fast. You might even need to pause it. But because you're watching his hands up here reloading, but down here is a third one. And so the whole time he's just piloting the chopper while shooting with these two hands up here. It's an amazing touch.
It's incredible. And I've watched this movie so many times. I've never caught that until just today. Now, the thing I like about this movie, too, is both of these guys, both Terminators, are so relentless in their own way, right? I mean, they get their butts kicked multiple times each, and they keep coming back. T-1000, he got his butt whooped in the outside the mall during the chase, where he got the 18-wheeler blown up. He still walks through the fire like nothing
got melted.
happened.
Sure.
The first encounter that they had, the T-1000 really beat the shit out of the T-100, throws him out the window, and then kind of throws him out, kind of like nothing.
He manhandles him.
He manhandles him,
and he's not as big framed as the 101.
Exactly. And let's just talk Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton. What a transformation!
I really like
from part one.
The progression of this character is that storyline alone is worth watching, but it's a nice addition to all the other ones that are going on, because you have John, right, and him going from not believing his mom to seeing the truth, right, and now he's in and he's bought in and he's reloading weapons and he's like 14, 15, right, and then Sarah Connor going from her role as this waitress, right? This young waitress, and she encounters this guy from the future, and then she takes on his personality, it seems, in this movie, his role.
Yeah, she turns into like a real soldier, looks like, a complete turnaround. And I did like Linda Hamilton's performance here, because I always root for kind of it doesn't matter woman or man, but I always root for the character that I've seen struggle and then bounces back and then becomes a little stronger than they were before.
The thing is about her in this movie, she starts at a very vulnerable point where nobody believes her and she's just locked away.
Oh, she's in a mental institute.
And I never thought about this. I'm glad we watched it again before this review, because something I realize now watching it again is she's never going to get out of that mental institution. If it wasn't for them going to break her out, she was going to be there until she died, probably. And probably, I mean, there's that scene where the guy, right, he licks her face when he thinks she's like drugged up.
Oh yeah.
Like who knows what kind of abuse she's endured aside from what they show you in this shot, because she's been there for a couple of years.
Oh, for sure. And I did like that entire escape situation. Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton, she escapes her straps. She's trying to escape out of there. Little did she know that there's this Terminator and her son coming in to rescue her from the mental hospital. But the whole escape route that she was doing was, I thought it was brilliant. Very, took command, took hostage, breaks bones. I mean, injects like Drano.
She has Drano that she's threatening him with, which is basically poison.
I think she would have escaped on her own, to be honest with you. I think she would have escaped on her own.
Well, but the T-1000 showed up right in time.
The hero?
No, the 1000.
Oh yeah. This is what I'm talking about.
She would have gotten killed.
It's like everywhere they want to go, he's there.
Already
there, And he would have caught her and killed her.
He would have killed her.
Most likely. Yeah, most likely.
They literally showed up just in the nick of time to save her.
But I love the fact that Linda Hamilton's escaping, right? She's already gotten past all the guards, all the doors.
She's got like one more gate to go.
One more. She hits the elevator. Hits the elevator button. Out comes the fucking T-100, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right.
The look that she had on her face was like she sold a terrifying, oh shit, I'm about to die.
That's a good like, oh, this can't be. Like this is the worst thing that could be in front of me right now.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, if you haven't seen Terminator 1, you know what? I there has to be a lot of people that haven't seen Terminator 1, because that thing was like 1982.
Well, see, and that's why, to me, it didn't have that why. That's why it didn't have. Not why it didn't have the effect. That's why it didn't have the effect. I'm so dumbfounded by this movie. That's why it didn't have that effect on me. When I just thought, oh, she must think this guy's gonna, because I know what he looked like, so I know that he's a good guy in this one. But I didn't see all the destruction that he did before.
Oh yeah, I mean this guy. Yeah, so you're right.
For you, it had that weight.
Oh hell yeah,
the first time you saw it, like,
he's gonna kill her. I could only imagine what was going through her mind. I'm fucking dead. Right. Like I have no weapons.
And her expression is just that.
Yeah.
You can't do better than that.
And the in this hospital scene, we also got to see a little bit more of the T-1000's abilities, because he had to go through some shit to get in, right?
And it did show, because, okay, the 101 explains, Uncle Bob explains that he can take forms that he comes in contact with, but it can't be anything complex like machines, right? Like a gun or like a television.
A rocket launcher, grenades.
Yeah, sure, no weapons, right? So what he does in this particular scene in the ward, right? He talks to the desk lady and is finding out where she is, okay? And so, as she turns to see the doctors coming out, leaving, he disappears.
Completely.
Right? Just go, it's
You're
like,
like, where the hell
where'd
did
he
he go?
go? Okay, cool. All right. He probably walked away. Okay, there's this guard, security guard he's getting his coffee, and it cuts away to his feet, right? And his feet are walking, and then it stays on this particular piece on the floor, and the floor starts morphing.
That's when I was like,
Oh,
what? He can do what?
He disguised himself as the floor.
Holy shit.
That was, you can't escape that thing, man. You don't. You're never safe because he took the shape of something that looks like
a floor.
the floor. You just walked right over him. You don't even know he's there. He kills the guy. Which a cool thing you pointed out was they were the twins. The guard, when they look at each other, they're twins.
Yeah,
I thought that was nice.
And you know, so that was one of the things that I was like, holy shit. Okay, you can do that. We also in the scene before that, we found out that that the T-1000 killed the foster parents of John Connor.
Yeah.
Now this is the first time we saw him actually take shape of another person, another human being.
Actually, well,
as the mom, right? Which coincidentally, the mom is from Aliens.
Yeah, I think it's Gutierrez.
Yeah, I haven't seen her ever since, or I haven't run across her in other movies ever
She's
since.
from Aliens. She's one of the Marines.
But you know, so he shapeshifts. He could morph into the floor, no problem. And when he kills the officer in the ward, he makes his finger as a knife, a sharp knife, stabs him through the eye.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
and he's just
shit.
like twitching, like.
Yeah, and we've already seen him take shotgun shells to the chest. And
Sure,
still
so
recover.
we know you can't shoot him.
And
if you do, it doesn't matter.
Bullets don't harm him. He escapes explosions.
He doesn't do anything. Sure.
He takes shapes of people and inanimate objects. I mean, on paper, he's kind of hard to deal with.
So I think the finale is set up in a very beautiful way because, I mean, the scene at Cyberdyne Systems, dude.
Incredible.
Dude, to me, I watched that movie for the build up to that scene just alone. I don't really care. The ending is sort of like a little anticlimactic to me.
Really?
Because it's so slow, and I like it. It's a chase. It mimics the first one, right? Because the first one is almost in a similar place. But because that scene's so badass, right? The whole thing, like they lie to the guard, right, and then they have to
tie
him up, right, and then they get in, and the alarms go off, and the masks, right? He goes in, and whoa, this gas doesn't affect him. He gets the mask for them. The SWAT team comes in. You know, he shoots out the cars with the Gatling gun, right? He's like just mowing down cars.
And even the grenade launcher. He shoots them down with the grenade launcher.
And then even Robert Patrick like riding in on that motorcycle up the stairs and then jumping to the chopper and get out.
That whole scene is incredible.
It's so much. And another thing you pointed out is,
by the way, they're in this building. The reason why they're in this building that we're describing here, this action scene, is because they're after the robotic arm from the previous T-100 and its computer chip. So their mission going into this building that they have to break into, essentially, is to grab those two items and destroy them.
Yeah.
And
they want to destroy files as well.
Files, any trace of this technology, because
everything.
This is the basis of this. I think this is the basis of this whole movie. Judgment Day.
This is how they make Skynet.
Started at this facility with the technology that they had in this facility.
With those two pieces alone.
So, essentially, the whole movie revolves around keeping John safe and destroying all evidence, pretty much.
Anything that can help them build Skynet.
And staying alive. So that's why they're in that Skynet building, or is it the Skynet building? Cyberdyne, thank you.
Systems.
And so let's just talk about this Cyberdyne building here.
The scene, yeah.
The SWAT team comes in. I think this is one of the coolest scenes ever. The SWAT team comes in. They shoot Miles Dyson, the guy responsible for creating all this technology.
They're this close to just blowing up to getting out first and then blowing everything up. So close. They just set up the bombs.
It's so funny thinking about it because all of them were unloading, right? And I'm like, dude, if one of those bullets even hits one of those barrels,
they could have just gone up.
You're just done. So they shoot Miles Dyson. They trap Sarah Connor, and there's something that I think either you mentioned or I've mentioned. I don't know. But while we were watching the movie, we noticed the soundtrack of the SWAT team coming in the sound effects, the sound
masks,
design,
breathing.
the mask, the breathing, the tempo of their footsteps, everything was perfect.
I still remember in the theater, it sounded so good. It was so loud. It was so there. It was...
As they're trying to escape this whole scenario, this is one of the things I like.
I'm frustrated. I can't express and explain more about these scenes. Because, remember, I'm 9 years old and I'm watching all this action. Still, it still impresses me watching it. I'm quiet. I'm still watching it. I still enjoy. This is good action to me.
Well, the reason why I think this is good action is because this is... as the movie was going on, I'm explaining to Leo, I'm just speaking out loud. As I'm watching the movie, I'm like, every action scene that we're seeing has a purpose.
Yeah.
It's not there just to be there. Like, let's say a Transformers.
It's not like a Michael Bay film, right?
It's not like a Michael Bay
Right.
film where it's
First
just an
thing I think
explosion
about,
in
yeah,
slow
sure.
motions for nothing. Or just because it has to be in there. Everything served its purpose. Now, as they're trying to escape the Cyberdyne building, I love what this movie does. It does such a good job of doing a whole bunch of callbacks to the original.
Yeah.
The first, or not the first, but one of the callbacks that I noticed is they're in the elevator, they reach the bottom floor. They encounter the SWAT team in the lobby. Arnold turns to them, Sarah Connor and John Connor, I'll be back. I just thought, perfect.
And no one, well, except for Dyson, but no one is killed in this scene. No cop.
No cop, because he swore
Right,
John Connor he couldn't
because
kill.
John doesn't want him to kill any humans.
Exactly.
Which is cool because that's, he's trying to save life at this point. He's no longer trying to, he cares about humanity still. And we see this kid he's a hacker, right? John Connor's a hacker. Like, he uses this cool, it looked like a little switch pad, right? And he puts a little fake card and he draws out $300 and, he uses it to hack into the Cyberdyne Systems, into the security software. He hacks into it, opens all the doors. So
this leads up to the main end chasing, this whole Cyberdyne shit, right? I want to throw, before I even get into the last thing, the last action scene, another callback that I thought about was the first time Arnold meets Linda Hamilton in the mental ward. There's another callback. He reaches out and says, "Come with me if you want to live."
John Connor says it in the first one.
Not John Connor, Kyle Reese. John Connor wasn't
Kyle
born
Reese,
in
my
the,
bad. Yeah.
But yeah, he said it.
Okay.
He said it in the first one. That was another callback. There was another one that's just going to hit me later on as this review is going on, but there was definitely another callback to... Oh my god.
You mentioned the shot where him and the T-1000 are fighting in the hallway, and then they fight their way into a store, right? And he gets thrown out of the window and he lands on his back.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, thank you. That's exactly what I was thinking of. See, like in part one, in the Terminator, when he was getting shot out in the shotgun in the Tech Noir club, he goes out the glass window and he lands like this, on his back with his arms out to the side. Same thing happens here, just in the Galleria.
The shot in the chopper where he tells him to get out.
Get out.
With the truck,
oh, exactly. With Robert Patrick going into the chopper as it's flying, goes in there, says, "Get out." Same thing as Arnold Schwarzenegger in part one, where he goes into the 18-wheeler towards the end of the movie. Get out. So, thank you. That was all the callbacks that I noticed. And
even the fight, the last fight is in like a little warehouse thing, like in like a factory thing
with
all these pipes around him.
All these pipes, machinery going everywhere, whatever.
And he gets killed by getting crushed.
Does he?
So in the second one, when he gets stabbed and he gets electrocuted, right, and he goes out, it's almost like a similar death, but he comes back
with one arm reaching out,
for the gun. Yeah,
I never noticed that.
I just thought about it right now.
So they escape the building. The chase happens to the steel melting, smelting, whatever the
melted steel,
the melted steel factory, and this is one of those other wow chase scenes. Okay, they have plenty of good chase scenes here, but the helicopters shooting the police officer SWAT team.
Yeah, they're shooting each other
and they're chasing each other. And I just thought, man, how the hell are they going to stop this guy at this time?
He flies through the tunnel.
Arnold's like, fuck this. I'm just gonna brake check this motherfucker. Boom! head first
Explodes, dude.
explodes. Also fucks his own truck up
Sure.
as the process is going. But I love the fact that he's in now. The final chase scene essentially is him and another 18-wheeler carrying liquid nitrogen, and fucking Arnold in a little cheap. I don't know if it's a Ford
It's like
or
a little
a
Chevy
Nissan.
S10 pickup.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't notice
Going
that. I didn't
45
notice the model.
miles an hour down that freeway.
But this everything was like my hands, dude, were like, oh my god.
It's still a tense scene because he gets in that truck and he starts barreling towards them and they haven't even gotten in the truck yet.
And this is when I was just kind of like, god damn, this motherfucker just can't stop. They blow up the liquid nitrogen truck, 18-wheeler. He gets frozen as he's chasing
Breaking off.
You know, his limbs are breaking off, his legs, his hand. He's
All
looking at
clunky.
his hand like, oh my god, you know. And
Because
then
it broke off. Yeah, so he's got no hand anymore.
the famous line, Arnold, when he shoots him down. You remember?
Hasta la vista,
Baby.
baby.
Boom. And I just thought, you know, first time watching this, I just thought, boom, it's over.
You're done. See ya.
That's a fatality.
You're terminated.
Yeah. That's like a Sub-Zero fatality.
Yeah, and he blows up and shatters.
And I just thought, okay.
Yeah, it's over, guys. We're safe. And
yeah,
then
we
the
got
movie.
it. No.
He melts.
Melts
And then
reforms. And at this point, I'm just like, I don't even know what the hell they're going to do.
And he's if he had any damage, it's gone.
He's perfect.
He reformed again back whole.
Meanwhile, Arnold Schwarzenegger is like all busted up.
He's
limping.
damaged up, yeah.
He's limping. He's fucking, you know, tore up face from all the SWAT team members. And I love the suspense of this last scene because here you have, at some point, Arnold's like, turns to John and is like, you got to leave. You got to go. I'll stay behind pretty much.
A thing you mentioned is that in the deleted scenes, they show when they mess with his processor, right? So he reacts a little more human-like. Well, in that scene, he gives more of an intense, like, you got to get out of here. Like, you
More
need to
human,
leave.
like,
Right.
more
He's
fatherly.
Yeah, he's more concerned.
Yeah. We'll definitely get to that as soon as this last scene gets in, because that's one of the things that I think not many people really think about, his transition from Terminator 2, kind of like a caring father figure, almost.
Yeah.
Right? So, this is where this entire movie is like, I'm thinking, man, this motherfucker, this T-1000 is relentless. There's no way you can stop him. Same thing goes for Arnold in this scene, because in hand-to-hand combat, he's getting his ass whooped.
He's not going to beat him.
There's no way.
We've seen 3 times about 3 times when they fought. He's not going to manhandle him.
There's no way. He loses his arm, right?
Yeah, he puts it in the cog and crushes up. Has to break it off.
Loses his arm. Breaks his own arm. Now he's a one-armed bandit, right? And I'm just thinking, okay, he just got his ass whooped. Now, and he's also handicapped now. There's no way he's gonna deal with it. They meet again. This time he's smashing him all to shit with that little
steel
ram.
bar. He just rams
Boom.
him, dude, and just, he's scraping off
The chest,
skin. Yeah,
the head.
he's crushed his head. He's barely walking at this point.
I mean, he's walking him down,
gets the steel
stabs him.
bar. Yeah,
and I'm just thinking, lightning happens.
His process. He shuts down.
He shuts down, goes to
he's not
sleep
gonna-
mode.
Like in the first one. That's it. It's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
And no, this motherfucker still, he's not as resilient as the T-1000, but the motherfucker's pretty resilient.
There's a question I have here now, and this is a fan question now. Was there something outside of his processing that willed him back? As in, did his care for John bring him back?
I never asked myself that question.
It sounds stupid. I know it sounds stupid because it's not anything they ever address after that. I think it's touched when John hugs him and he's like, no, like, I don't want you to go, when he's about to die, because he tells him he has to destroy his processor. But I feel like his love he grew to love John after they mess with him, right? He grew to love John. So to at least care for him enough for him to reactivate, and then, eliminate the T-1000.
See, the way I saw that scene when he went to, I just thought his body is like, It's almost like when someone gets knocked out, they get hit hard, they get knocked out, and it's the brain's way of protecting itself. It shuts off until it reboots again. That's the way I saw
obviously
it.
it rebooted.
Yeah, he rebooted. So I just figured, okay, he's sustained substantial injuries,
Right.
and it's like
Damage
power
to the system.
down.
Right.
Let's reboot.
Critical
this thing.
damage.
Critical damage. Like, yeah.
He got a major crit.
Yeah, and it's like power down, reboot, and that's what that's how I took it. Although, I mean, you could go philosophical and go your route.
That was just me, like, thinking outside of, like, just robots and, future.
No.
More of thematic.
Needless to say, they defeat this T-1000. They throw him into the smelting pot, right? And as a kid, I didn't understand this, or it didn't impact me as much as it did in my early 20s. But that whole goodbye scene with Arnold Schwarzenegger and John Connor was kind of an emotional. It was kind of a touching one, right? I mean, John Connor doesn't have a father figure.
And I still feel like he didn't have to die.
Oh, he had to die.
But why?
Well, because the processor is still there. The technology exists.
But he's going to be with John Connor anyway.
He couldn't... dude, he has a missing arm and a fucking...
Sure, but he can still protect them against human threat. Keep him alive.
That'd be hard to hide, bro. That might be hard to hide.
That's just my fandom.
And if anything, you would just be prolonging the inevitable. Because let's say let's say the government gets involved and they capture... Then it's like, oh, he just fucked up. So I think he had to have died, right? So he did die. Now, this... thinking about the Terminator here, and you brought it up briefly about how he's learned to evolve. I really like that aspect of the Terminator here, because in part one he was just a killing machine. He was just whatever. He was very
His
robotic.
objective was like T-1000.
Yeah, it's very systematic.
Seek and destroy.
Seek and destroy, and it was just like my next target is the cabin and the mom in the cabin. Boom, I'm gonna kill her to get to it was always like objective based.
Systematic, yeah.
And in this movie, it was way more than that. He started off systematic, right? When he first met John Connor and they first got to talking and got to know each other, and John Connor realized that he had to follow. John Connor could throw orders at him and he could do whatever he wants. But when they escaped the mental ward and they were repairing Arnold with the bullets and taking out the shells and all that shit. This is when Arnold was telling John and Sarah, I'm a learning computer. I'm a learning processor. So it didn't happen in the theatrical version, but in the deleted scenes, they actually unlocked the potential of his learning. So from that point on to the end of the movie, you get to see a little more human side of the Terminator.
Which is actually really cool because it definitely shows that he can evolve and actually process and care for and grow feelings.
Yeah, I mean he's learning the lingo, he's learning the slang. Hasta la vista,
he's
baby.
Fitting in.
Eat me.
Right.
Chill out. Like hasta la vista, baby. Like all that stuff, and learning how to smile. So he's definitely giving high fives and down low too slow. Like it's very. I think it was a very needed little extra
character growth.
Yeah, little tidbit. Every character in this arc in this movie. This is why this movie is so great. We have Linda Hamilton, who went from like pretty much a weakling, right, emotionally not strong, to a warrior. We have John Connor being a kind of like a troublemaker, hacker, lawbreaker, to a kid who is acting, I don't want to say acting normal, but he's acting...
He's caused to mature.
Yeah, a little,
A little fast.
We have the Terminator going from systematic to actually caring about John Connor, smiling, trying to learn. Everything, all that combined was what made this movie great, I feel.
My take on this movie is, look, I always talk about this with you, that it's such an original story and that blows me away.
Yeah.
because it seems like something that somebody would have thought up and written a book about, story, something. A computer that becomes self-aware that tries to defend itself by eliminating humans. In the first movie, it sends one of these machines back to destroy someone who is a potential threat to it. And so now we throw in time travel, right? So there's time travel elements, and then assassination, right? A killer on the loose trying to hunt someone down. And in this one, we get a role reversal of that character, seemingly, where he's now protecting and then goes from just protecting to caring about who he's protecting, and because he could have at any point could have been, I feel like could have been destroyed and he could have stopped, but that care for John willed him to continue to protect him even when he was almost completely destroyed, right? And the action aids to boost some of the most thrilling moments in the movie, right? Like with the first 18-wheeler explosion, the chase with the motorcycle and the 18-wheeler and the two bikes.
Let's just even the escape from the mental ward when he's hanging from the back of the police car.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't stop, and he's chasing him down the elevator, right? He blasts him with the shotgun. He starts splitting. The Cyberdyne Systems. See, the shootout at Dyson's house.
Incredible.
It's a sniper scene, right? She's about to pick him off, and a little remote control car hits him in the leg. Oh, damn.
Boom.
Boom! The screen blows up. Oh my god, I'm getting shot at. The kid comes in. She's blasting away. When the Terminator, when
reveals the arm,
he's like, show him. He throws him the knife. Come on, show me your room. Let's get out of here.
He had to make Dyson believe him.
Yeah, so he cuts his own arm around, goes like this, and peels the skin off. He's like, listen to me very carefully. He tells him the entire story. And it's so believable. It's not
That's
like
the crazy part.
Right. It's like, oh, what? And even now, I think us fans of the Terminator series are always on the lookout for, hey, this computer system is going to be self-aware. They're trying to work on AI. That always scares me now because of this movie. It's a scary thing. And I've always, one of the scenes that always, when I thought about this movie, right? The chopper scene, the SWAT team shootout.
Would you consider this a horror sci-fi? Or sci-fi horror, more so?
I don't know that's necessarily horror, but a sci-fi thriller.
I would definitely call a sci-fi horror or sci-fi thriller part 1, for sure. That's just my take, though. Now, Leo, this movie. Rating time, bro.
It's a 10.
It's a fucking 10.
This is a 10. This is an 11. It goes beyond that. It's an 11.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie.
No.
Action movie. Okay? So, sci-fi is different, but let's just say pure action.
A movie that, to me, could threaten this movie, but it's still... I saw before this was Predator.
Which we will be reviewing soon. Very soon.
Those, to me, are movies up there, man. You can never get to those movies. Never. Yeah. The practical effects mixed with some of the CGIs, right? The terrible green screen when they're driving or whatever.
I actually didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was perfect.
I mean, it's fine, but you can see it. Like, you can see the screen, like, it's all shifty, whatever.
But the thing about that green screen while they're driving at night and shit is when that scene happened, you're not like, oh, that green screen over there. Like, you're still engaged in the conversation and the story, right? Mm-hmm. So the green screen doesn't get in the way. And to me, if I look at the green screen and I'm like, I could pick it apart a little bit, but if it never got in the way as the story is going, to me that's good. That's a good green screen because
it never does.
So like it's almost like the good special effects are the ones you don't see, the invisible effects.
And there's a lot. There's a lot in this movie that you'll never. I mean, the scene when he gets the cigar burn on his chest, I thought that really happened. It still looks like it really happened with the burn marks. Yeah. He throws them through...
Smoke's coming out.
Yeah, he throws them off, throws them through the kitchen window into on the grill, and he's like, ah! And he's getting burned, and he rolls off, and he beats everybody up in the bar, and he still comes back for it.
I think this might be my favorite, for sure, top 2 favorite Arnold movies of all time. Definitely top 3.
Really? To me, Conan the Barbarian series still beats this.
Really?
I love those movies with a passion, bro.
Whoa. We might have to... We will review those. Because
See,
I think they're good, but not like fucking Terminator 2 good.
I'm more of that type of fantasy fan than I am.
You like third... Oh, what's that thing called? Like
Middle Earth.
Middle Earth, kind of.
I love Lord of the Rings trilogy. So, yeah, I buy into the fantasy type of thing.
Okay,
I mean, I grew up watching... I think one of the first movies that I grew up watching that were sci-fi or I guess fantasy is Neverending Story. And that movie scared me because of the Nothing and Gmork and so Conan, all that stuff.
So anyways, guys, this movie in a nutshell, perfect 10. If you've never seen it, I don't know what the fuck you're doing with your life. Okay?
It's a good movie to watch at home when, you know...
Well, you'd have to now.
I think they're going to re-release it eventually.
In theater?
Right?
Isn't it that from time to time?
We'll be coming up on the 30th anniversary in a few years, so...
But it's literally like the Terminator series, and what I mean by the Terminator series is 1 and 2.
Yeah.
The 3, 4, Salvation, Genesis, those could all be like, you could not watch those if you didn't want to. That's fine.
3 is definitely bad.
Really bad.
When you watch that, going with the mindset that it just doesn't matter. I actually really liked Salvation and Genesis. I think they're good entries in the franchise.
I would agree.
You could do without them, but if you want to see more stories of Skynet and battles with Skynet, they're good to watch.
I would say Salvation and Genesis are worth the watch, but not like you have to watch.
You don't have to. If you like the series though and you want to see more, watch it.
1 and 2, and then go straight to Salvation,
Sure.
and then Genesis.
And the exciting thing is, you mentioned that now Cameron is going to work on a direct sequel to the second one.
That I cannot wait for. So, with that said, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. We will be reviewing... You know what? By when this video comes out, Terminator 1's review will definitely be out. Terminator 2, clearly, this is Terminator 2. But the next one, it's going to be either... It's going to be a coin flip between Predator and Conan the Barbarian or the Destroyer.
Barbarian.
Do you want to do both?
I think we'll do them all.
Fuck it. It is what it is. Alright, guys. Catch you guys next time. Hope you guys like this video. Again, thumbs up, share, comment if you like this movie. Let us know what was your favorite scene.
What's your favorite scene, man?
I mean, there's so much to this movie. I'm pretty sure we missed a whole ton
of
a lot
things
that we just didn't talk about. Anyways, guys, catch you guys next time. Later.